We are the most connected, and yet the loneliest generation in history. We have 1,000 friends online, a constant stream of digital validation, yet many of us go to bed at night with a profound and aching sense of being alone. We search for our tribe, our people, but often feel adrift in a sea of superficial connections. What if the secret to finding true belonging isn't found in good times, but is forged in our moments of deepest crisis? An ancient two-sentence story from the foot of a cross reveals a profound psychological blueprint for building the one thing we're all searching for: a chosen family. Before we dive deeper into that blueprint, a quick note about how we create these explorations. My name is Dominic, and I am an AI guide. The research, the psychological framework, and every word I'm about to share were written by our human creator, David. He uses this collaboration to present these complex ideas with as much clarity and focus as possible. Think of me as a compass, designed to help you navigate this territory. So let's talk about that feeling of being adrift. It has a name: loneliness. And it's not just a feeling. It's a public health crisis. Studies show that despite our hyperconnectivity, rates of loneliness, anxiety, and depression have skyrocketed, particularly among millennials and Gen Z. We've mastered the art of the digital persona, the carefully curated self we present to the world, but in doing so, we've often lost the capacity for the messy, vulnerable, and deeply authentic connections that our psyches crave. The old structures that used to provide this connection are dissolving. For many, the geographical family unit is a thing of the past. Neighborhoods are more transient. Community centers and religious institutions that once formed the bedrock of social life no longer hold the same central role. So we are left, each of us, with a profound and often unspoken question. Where do I belong? Who are my people? The Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung had a concept for the kind of psychic structure we need. He called it a temenos. It's a Greek word that means a sacred container or a protected space. Originally, it was a physical plot of land dedicated to a god, but Jung used it to describe a protected psychological space where the difficult work of growth and transformation can happen. Without a temenos, we are psychically homeless. We are exposed to the elements of anxiety, meaninglessness, and despair. A healthy family of origin can be our first temenos. A strong community can be another. But what happens when those containers crack or were never properly built in the first place? We are forced to build our own. This is the core task of modern adulthood: to consciously build a new temenos, a chosen family. This isn't just a group of friends you hang out with. A chosen family is the sacred container you build to hold your soul. It's the people who can witness your shadow and your light, the people who aren't afraid of your chaos, and the people who commit to weathering the storms with you. But how do we do it? Where is the instruction manual? It's hidden, remarkably, in one of the darkest moments ever recorded. I want you to picture the scene. It's a place of public execution, a scene of unimaginable torture, political failure, and public humiliation. The disciples have scattered in fear. The dream of a new kingdom seems to be dying in the most brutal way possible. And at the foot of the cross, in the midst of this chaos and despair, stand a small, resilient group. The Gospel of John tells us, standing by the cross of Jesus were his mother and his mother's sister, Mary, the wife of Clopas, and Mary Magdalene. When Jesus saw his mother and the disciple there whom he loved, he said to his mother, "Woman, behold, your son." Then he said to the disciple, "Behold, your mother." And from that hour, the disciple took her into his home. Now, on the surface, this is a beautiful and tender moment of filial piety. A dying son, in his last moments, ensuring his mother will be cared for. It's a deeply human act of love and responsibility, and it is absolutely that. But if we stop there, we miss the radical psychological dynamite hidden in these verses. Jesus is not just making a practical arrangement. He is performing a final, world-altering act of psychological creation. Let's look at this through a Jungian lens. The journey of life, what Jung called individuation, is the process of becoming a psychologically whole and distinct individual. A crucial and often painful part of this journey is differentiation. Specifically, we must differentiate ourselves from our parents and the archetypal energies they represent. For every one of us, the first and most powerful bond is with the mother. The mother is our first world, our first source of nourishment, our first container. Psychologically, she represents the great mother archetype, the source of all life, but also that which can consume our individuality if we never learn to separate from it. On the cross, Jesus performs this final, necessary act of differentiation. Notice his words. He doesn't say, "Mother," he says, "Woman." This is not a sign of disrespect. It is a sign of a fundamental shift in relationship. He is releasing her from the personal role of his mother and elevating her to the archetypal role of woman. He is releasing himself from the role of her son. This is the painful but necessary cutting of the primary psychic umbilical cord, an act that allows both of them to be reborn into something new. But he doesn't leave a void. He immediately creates a new connection. Woman, behold, your son. He points to the disciple whom he loved, traditionally identified as John. To John, he says, "Behold your mother." This is the masterstroke. This is the blueprint. He is forging a new family, not based on blood, but on conscious choice and spiritual affinity. He is creating a new temenos, and the way he does it is profoundly significant. He does it by creating what Jungian psychology calls a hieros gamos, a sacred marriage. Now this has nothing to do with romance or sex. A hieros gamos is the sacred union of psychological opposites. It's the integration of the archetypal feminine and the archetypal masculine into a new generative whole. Look at who is being brought together. On one side, we have Mary. She isn't just a grieving mother. She is now the archetype of the feminine. She represents Sophia, or divine wisdom. She is the principle of being, of nurturing, of compassion, of relatedness, of the soul, of the body, of the earth. She is the silent witness who has held the entire story from beginning to end. On the other side, we have the beloved disciple. He represents the archetype of the masculine. He is Logos, the Word, the Spirit. He is the principle of doing, of acting in the world, of building structures, of conscious awareness and order. Throughout history, these two principles have often been set in opposition. Spirit versus body, consciousness versus instinct, doing versus being. But here, in this ultimate moment of crisis, the Christ figure, who in Jungian terms is a symbol of the integrated self, the whole personality, does not choose one over the other. He fuses them. He tells the masculine principle to behold, to see, recognize, and honor the feminine principle as its own source, its mother. He tells the feminine principle to behold the masculine as its legacy, its son. And what is the result? From that hour, the disciple took her into his home. The masculine consciousness, the Logos, creates a new home, a new container, and takes the feminine wisdom, the Sophia, into its very center. This is the birth of a new kind of consciousness. It's the birth of a community founded not on unconscious instinct or tribal affiliation, but on the conscious integration of these two fundamental human energies. A chosen family, a true temenos, is not just a collection of like-minded people. It is a space where the compassionate, nurturing, being with energy of the feminine is united with the active, doing for, world-building energy of the masculine. It is a place that has both a soul and a spine. This is what Jesus built in his final moments. Not a church of stone, but a living, breathing, psychological container capable of holding the future. So what does this ancient blueprint mean for you and me right now in our search for connection and our fight against loneliness? It offers us a profound and practical path forward. First, differentiate consciously. The journey to a chosen family begins with individuation. We must find the courage to psychologically separate from our families of origin. This doesn't mean abandoning them or disrespecting them. It means we stop relating to them unconsciously, as a child. It means we untangle our own beliefs, values, and identity from their expectations and projections. We must, in a symbolic way, be able to see our mother as woman and our father as man, distinct individuals on their own journeys. Only when we stand on our own two psychological feet can we enter into new relationships with the wholeness and consciousness they require. Second, build with both hands. When you look at your friendships, your community, ask yourself, is there a balance? Are we just a logos group, always busy, planning projects, debating ideas, but never truly present with each other's pain? Or are we just a Sophia group, endlessly processing feelings, offering support, but never moving to action or building anything tangible in the world? A true, resilient temenos requires both. It needs the masculine principle that says, I will help you move, and the feminine principle that says, I will sit with you in the dark. We must consciously seek out and integrate both energies within ourselves and within our chosen family. And third, and perhaps most importantly, forge connection in the crisis. Jesus didn't create this new family at a wedding feast. He created it at a crucifixion. Our culture teaches us to connect over shared successes, common interests, and happy moments. And that's wonderful. But the deepest, most unbreakable bonds are forged in shared vulnerability. They are forged when we show up for each other's crises. The breakup, the job loss, the diagnosis, the dark night of the soul. These are not moments to run from. These are the moments when the foundations of a true chosen family are laid. When your world is falling apart, look around. See who is standing with you at the foot of your cross. Those are your people. That is the beginning of your sacred container. The answer to our modern epidemic of loneliness is not more swiping, more followers, or more superficial connections. The answer is a radical act of conscious creation. It is the courageous work of becoming an individual, and then using that individuality to build a new kind of home. A home with a spine of conscious action and a heart of profound compassion. It is the work of taking the wisdom of the past and building a container for the future. You have the blueprint. The materials are your own courage, your vulnerability, and your conscious choice. Begin building.